Hi class, it's me, Teacher Mel. So we are done in quarter one. So today we're going to start in quarter two. So I'll teach you or I'll guide you how to accomplish your WHLP in week one for this quarter, okay? So this is your WHLP. So please don't forget to write your name here. And then my name, Melissa L. Lopez, your section here. And then pangkalahatang panuto. It is stated here that tiyakin na nakasulat ang buong pangalan, grade at section sa bawat pahina na makikita sa ilalim na bahagi ng WHLP. Kung gagamit naman kayo ng karagdagang papel o bond paper, syempre lalagyan nyo pa rin ng pangalan, grade at section. So let's go to the bottom of this WHLP. Yan. So please rather write your last name, first name, and then grade and section. So class, sometimes it is not expected that your outputs are separated from one another. So for this reason, I am encouraging you to write your name, grade, and section on each page of this WHLP so that, it is easy for me to find them all if ever that they are separated from one another. So page 2, last name, first name, grade, and section. Page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, and then page 7. Now let's go back. So your task, day 1, Monday. So our lesson is language of research, campaigns, and advocacies. So first, you have to go to page 6 of your module and then you can answer these in your notebook. If you don't have notebook, you can answer on any sheets of paper. Now let's go to your module. So this is your module, page 6. And then you have to do this test. Mother Earth is crying. So you have to examine this material. Now, how would you describe the way bits of information were presented and discussed? So please answer the 1 to 5 questions. Number 1, what is the material about? So take a look and then tell me what the material is about. Then what specific message does it try to convey or tell us? Now, do you feel compelled to care or act after reading its contents? Why? Why not? Now, what particular part of the material made you feel that you are part of the issue? Then number 5, when and where do you usually encounter materials like the one you have just examined? So this one. Now, let us go back to your WHLP. So when you are done doing the motivation task, you can proceed to learning task 1. So here you just have to write true if the statement is correct and false if it is incorrect. Okay? Now you can do this in your notebook or on any sheets of paper. Let us go back to your module. Then let's go to learning task 1. So this is 1 to 5. 1 to 5 only. This one. Then, let's go back to your WHLP. So, after doing the learning task 1, you have to study the discussion on pages 7 to 8. Now, you have to proceed to pages 7 to 8. So, this one. So, language of research, campaign, and advocacies. Please read this carefully. And then pages 8. Okay. Read carefully, study carefully. If you want to use pen and paper to take down notes, it's okay. If you want to research about this, it's okay. And if you are having hard time to learn this, you can top me, and then I can make video about this. Okay? Now let's go to day 2. So for day 2, the same, you're going to have the lesson language of research, campaigns, and advocacies. By the way, class, learning task 2, I forgot to tell you, okay? So you still have to do learning task 2 after studying language of research, campaigns, and advocacies. So do learning task 2 found on page 7. You can do this in your notebook or on any sheets of paper. So let's go to page 7. This one, learning task 2. So here, learning task 2, you have to identify the type of persuasive technique being described. So you can choose your answer here. So you can say involving the reader, use of evidence, rhetorical questions, experts, emotive language association. So this is 1 to 5. Now when you are done, now we can proceed to day 2. Now, let's have this one. Learning task 3. So you have to go back to the image rather provided on page 6. So let's go back to the image provided on page 6. And that is Mother Earth is crying. Now, how would you describe the language used? So you're going to look at here, and then how do you describe the language used? For example, Mother Earth is crying. How do you describe this language? Climate change is affecting the entire world. Help us in saving our world, our home. Act now, reduce, reuse, recycle. So how do you describe the language used here? And then, did the advocate employ any of the language devices used in persuasion? If your answer is yes, please justify your answer. So you can write your answer here for learning task 3. Okay? No need another sheets of paper, no need notebook. Please write your answer here directly. Then let us proceed to learning task 4. So here you have to read and analyze the campaign material, then write 5 sentences that describe the language and persuasion techniques used in the sample you have chosen. Okay? So this is the material. Okay, learning task 4. So the material that you have to read and analyze is this one. Yan. Sumali sa hashtag Face Shield Challenge. The hashtag Courage On and the hashtag PH Vote coalitions urge people to write on their face shield as a sign of protest and post a picture on social media with the hashtag. Okay. So this is the material that you have to study. And then, when you are done studying, you have to write 5 sentences that describe the language and persuasion techniques used. Okay? So if you are confused about the language and persuasion techniques used, you have to go back here on pages 7 to 8. And then you can see here the language of research, campaigns, and advocacies here. Yan. So here are the language devices. Okay. Language features or language devices. So we have emotive language, modal verbs, involving the reader, rhetorical questions, using evidence, repetition, adjectives and adverbs, association, bandwagon, experts. Okay, that's all. Now, when you are done here, please don't forget to do this written task 1.1. It's very important. This is part of your quiz. Okay. So, modified true or false. Here you have to read the statements carefully and then write true if the statement is true. So, you can write your answer here true if that is true. Now, if that is false, okay, you can write here false, but you have to underline the incorrect words and replace them. Okay? So for example, number 1. If you think that this is false, you're going to underline the words, the incorrect word or the incorrect words. For example, the incorrect word here, but this is just an example. I'm not saying that number 1 is false. So for example, your answer is false. You write here false. False. Then for example, you underline awareness advocacies. So you underline this one. And then on top of it, on top of awareness advocacies, you have to write the correct word. Okay? So that is number 1 to 5. Now let's go to Wednesday. So this is day 3. So the topic is argumentation. So for our motivation test, pros and cons, so you can answer here directly. So you have to write here the pros and then the cons about the topic implementation of community measures in controlling the spread of COVID-19. Now, actually, you can go to your module and then go to page 10 so that you can have an idea about this one. Now, let's go to page 10. Actually, it's the same, but at least it's, it will give you more idea about argumentation. So please don't forget to read this. Then when you are done reading, so here it is. This is the task for motivation task. You can answer here. And then when you are done, you can go to learning task 1. Then go to pages 10 to 11 and then you have to read the statements carefully and you can answer this in your notebook or on any sheets of paper if you don't have notebook. You're going to write agree if the statement expresses the truth about argumentative text and disagree if it says otherwise. So here it is. So this one. This is 1 to 10. Now when you are done, you have to do learning task 2. So this is localization actually. Because we have here learning task 2. Here it says that you have to get a copy of an editorial. So here you don't have to get a copy of editorial. But rather, we already provided this learning task 2. We already provided the editorial column taken from South Billion Courier. So it was published last school year 2019-2020. So this is the editorial. Raise the agriculture rice for rice. I'll give you a bigger copy of this. Don't worry. Okay. Now number 1, after reading, you have to answer number 1. What is the main idea portrayed by the editorial you have just read? Number 2, what are the pieces of evidence that support the main idea? Cite at least 3 examples. Number 3, you have number 3. How would you describe the way the editorial board proved its point? Number 4, what can you say about the use of language and the words used in the given reading material? Number 5, were you prompted to believe the claims based on the ideas presented in the material? Why or why not?